Welcome to kidsacademy.mobi.
Hello everyone, let's open the worksheet. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. You can find the link to this app in comments below. I am so excited because today we're going to start a new worksheet and we're going to be working with something that I have never worked with before. So you're going to have to help me with this, but you're going to have to help me by using your head and by thinking about what makes sense. Can you do that? Okay, here we go. The name of our worksheet is called Reflexive Pronouns, okay? So let's read the directions. A reflexive pronoun refers back to the subject. Reflexive pronouns include these words: myself, yourself, himself, herself, ourselves, themselves. Now it says read the sentences below and check the reflexive pronoun to complete each sentence correctly. So do you think you can help me do this? Okay, let's get started. The first sentence says, Sebastian saw blank in the mirror, okay? And we've got three choices here. Our choices are myself, himself, and herself. So let's look at the subject of this sentence. Sebastian saw blank in the mirror. So who is the person that we're talking about? We're talking about the subject Sebastian, right? And we know a couple of things about Sebastian. We know Sebastian is one person, and we also know that Sebastian is a boy because that's a boy's name, right? So let's look here. We're trying to find something that's talking about one person and is talking about a boy. So let's go ahead and read through these. It says, Sebastian saw myself in the mirror. Does that make sense? Sebastian saw myself in the mirror. No, that doesn't make sense because it's not talking about me. It's talking about Sebastian. So let's look at the next one. Sebastian saw himself in the mirror. Does that make sense? Himself is one person and it's a boy, right? Himself. That one I think is the answer. That makes sense. But I always like to read through all of my choices just to make sure something else doesn't seem like it fits better, okay? Sebastian saw herself in the mirror. Well, that wouldn't make sense, would it? Because Sebastian is a boy and herself refers to a girl. So in this case, this is the correct answer. Sebastian saw himself in the mirror. That makes sense, right? So let's put a check right here. You guys are so smart. Thanks for helping me with this. Okay, the next one says some dinosaurs had spikes on their tails to defend blank. Okay, so let's think, who is the subject of this sentence? Some dinosaurs had spikes on their tails to defend blank. So our subject is going to be dinosaurs, right? And we know a few things about this because it has an S on the end. Dinosaurs, we know that this is more than one, right? We don't know if it's a boy, we don't know if it's a girl, but we know that it's more than one. So let's see if one of our answers down here makes us think of more than one. Some dinosaurs had spikes on their tails to defend themselves. Does that make sense? To defend themselves. Dinosaurs defend themselves. Yeah, that one makes a lot of sense. I think that one might be the answer, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to read these other choices. Some dinosaurs had spikes on their tails to defend myself. No, that one doesn't make sense. Dinosaurs is not talking about me. I'm not a dinosaur, so that doesn't make sense. What about this one? Some dinosaurs had spikes on their tails to defend himself. Now that one could be right if we're talking about a boy dinosaur, but we don't know that, do we? We don't know if it's a boy or girl, and it's not one dinosaur. What does that S tell us? It tells us that there's more than one, right? So that one wouldn't make sense either. Some dinosaurs had spikes on their tails to defend themselves. That is the answer that is smart, that is logical, that makes sense, right? Okay, so we put a check right there, ready to move on. We're doing great. Let's keep going. We make food for blank. So what is the subject? Let's start there. What is the subject? We make food for blank. Well, we is who we're talking about, and they are the subject of this sentence. So we make food for yourself. Would that make sense? Yourself, you, one person? Nope, we're talking about we, right? What about we make food for herself? A girl, one person? Nope, we is talking about how many. It's more than one, right? We don't know how many it is, but we know it's at least two or more. So we make food for ourselves. We or our, right? That makes sense. We make food for ourselves. Very good. Let's put a check right there. You're doing such a great job. I love this. Okay, 2 more. I can make lemonade by blank. I can make lemonade by blank. So let's think about who is that sentence talking about. I can make lemonade. I, right? That is the who or the subject in this sentence. So we're trying to find the reflexive pronoun. I can make lemonade by himself. Himself. Well, even if you are a boy and you're listening to this, it's not talking about specifically a boy or himself. It's talking about I or me in this. So that one won't work. I can make lemonade by himself? No. What about I can make lemonade by myself? I can make lemonade by myself. Yeah, that makes sense. And you've probably said a sentence like that before. It makes sense. I can make lemonade by myself. I is referring to me or myself. So what about this one? I can make lemonade by herself. Nope, that's not right. Even though I'm a her or I'm a girl, that would make sense because it's talking about the I. The I is the subject. So that one won't make sense either. This is the correct one. Myself referring to me or I, right? Very good. Okay, one more. You're doing so awesome helping me out with this. Okay, this one says, Sophie bought a beautiful dress for blank. Okay, now what do we know? We know that Sophie is our subject. That's who we're talking about. And what do we know about Sophie? How many people is Sophie? 1, right? It's 1. And is it a boy or a girl? Do you know Sophie? Do you know the name? Sophie is a girl's name, right? So Sophie bought a beautiful dress for yourself. You? Nope, that's not it. It's not talking about you. Sophie is not you. Sophie is a girl. Okay, so Sophie bought a beautiful dress for myself or me. Nope, the subject tells us that it's not about me. It's not talking about I or me. Let's keep going. Sophie bought a beautiful dress for her or herself. Does that make sense? Yes, because it's one girl. It's talking about someone else, isn't it? Her. So Sophie bought a beautiful dress for herself. Awesome job. That was really hard. I had never done that before, but when you use your brain and you think about what makes sense in each one of those sentences and you refer back to the subject, reflexive pronouns are not that hard, are they? I am so proud of you. Great job, guys. Bye-bye. I'll see you again next time.
Like us and subscribe to our channel. Find links to our apps in comments below.